Okay, now welcome to one of these Photoshop tutorials. And today we're going to go on a journey together where we make the perfect little YouTube thumbnail. Now you may want to turn one of your friends, maybe your parents, maybe you into another character. You can use any old character that you like. Now, let's get started. So now as you can see, I have this happy little man down here painting these happy little trees. Now, what we need to do first is go and zoom in here. Now he's got such a nice little face. Now why don't we do something here? Why don't we try something? Let's see. Whew. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. You see, when you use this quick select tool, it can just grab his little happy little face down there. Now we're gonna take this and we're gonna copy it. See, now if I do this, now his happy little face is still there. I've got two of those. We'll call him Rob Boss. All right. Now, right now, it has this as the background. This stock photo. Now I don't want this to be the background. I want to be able to edit it. You see, I can't edit it. And hit that little lock button. Watch what I can do. If I select this photo, I can start editing things. Now, did you see what happened there? When I tried to go in and erase around Mr. Rob, well, his face stood there. His face stood there. We want that for now. We want to make sure we have something. What I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to hide that. So now when I do this, if I try and go back and click in, well, I can put his face right back. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around and we're just going to take the littlest indication that Mr. Rob doesn't have a head. We're going to be throwing in another character here today. We're going to leave his beard in there just to see if we have something to work with. Even if there's a little mistake, that's okay. That's a happy accident. Okay, now that's a good little description. Now watch what happens. I can put that right back in. Now this whole part right here, this is going to get covered up. So don't worry. We're still going to hide that. Now the next thing we're going to do, we don't want this canvas to have anything on it. We want this to be a blank canvas today. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to our paintbrush tool. That's this one here, the brush. If you press B on your computer, well, it'll bring that up. If I just went ahead and brushed that, well, that's not the right color now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in. Now you see this little canvas right here? That's the color we want. Look at that. All of a sudden, it just matches that canvas. Now here's a little trick I can show you too. I'm going to go ahead and just plop down a little dot there. Now watch this. Watch what happens. If I hold shift and I click down, all of a sudden it just launches. It propels that color all the way down there. Look at how easy this is. You can do this too. One more time. Oh, look at that. I love that effect. What we're going to do is we're just going to fill this in with this whole same color. That's all we want. And all of a sudden we can take this out. This looks like Alberta to me right now. If you look up Alberta, you'll notice that the province looks a little something like that. That's what Alberta looks like. Okay, that wasn't intentional, but I do like it. Okay, now we're just going to go ahead and fill this in, this happy little Alberta. Command D, and it's going to deselect it. And you're just going to want to fill in these little indications that something was here before. I know it's not quite white, but that's okay. We don't need it to be a perfect white. We just want it to be a happy little canvas. What we're going to do is we're going to turn down the opacity. We don't want this to totally wipe out the canvas here. But we're just going to come along and color this. This is just going to give the indication that something ends here, that maybe there's a little shadow coming off of the paint palette. Maybe there's just a little indication of something that maybe wasn't here before. Now we got our blank canvas. So we're going to take one of our happy little characters and we're going to plug him in. We're going to start moving and molding and shaping him in here too. We're going to eventually, obviously we can't do it right now, but we're going to do something like this. Oh, look at that. There, he's coming out. Look at him peeking through. Now that already looks okay. I think we're about done. No. We can do better. We can do better than that. I'm just going to make it a little bigger right now. Just for now. We're going to shrink it later. And remember our little trick from earlier? Oh, that is one smart object. And all of a sudden, there it goes. Look at him go. Now you do got to be careful because there's still little indication that something was there before. You got to make sure those lines don't stay. So I'm just going to take this out real quick. That's looking good. Okay. We're going to just take some of his hair off. We're going to leave a little bit, though. You want the littlest indication that maybe his forehead's had a little more hair on it than it used to. Maybe it did. We don't know. We're not sure what the story is, but we're just going to take the littlest indication. Now, some of this is going to get covered up. That's okay. That's okay. You maybe want to leave a little extra on. You never know. And when we zoom in here, we see that maybe there's a little bit of his face still left, or some of his jacket. We don't want that. No, we want him to blend right in. So we're just going to come in here and be real smooth. Real smooth. Take that out. There it goes. We're going to leave his beard in there too. We're going to leave that on. We're going to leave it on. It's going to blend in later on. I'm going to show you how to make that look real nice and blend that extra. We leave little whiskers here's and there's. Maybe we'll draw some on later. I don't know. Hey, you can see those little marks? That's okay. That's okay. That's going to get covered up. They're not mistakes. They're happy little accidents. Remember, leave a little hair. Leave a little extra. You never know what you're going to need. I think that looks pretty good, don't you? But as you can see, now we've just got this happy little head floating around. I mean, this looks already pretty silly, doesn't it? That looks pretty funny. I think we're about done. Now that looks a little better, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, now let's see what happens when we do that. Oh, there it is. That's the stuff. Move him up a little bit. Now his chin would be a little somewhere like so. So let's see. What we got to do with Command T is if you go outside the border too, you can actually rotate a little bit. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that just the coolest little thing? Neatest little trick. Here. That looks good. Yeah. I think that looks pretty good. Why don't we try something? We're going to go back to our main background, the main border. So just click off to the side somewhere here. Make this little black part. Now what we're going to do, history brush. There it is. You can press Y if you want to find that on yours. Now what you got to do is just click in these little spots, giving the littlest indication that maybe that blends a little bit. There, he's got his little ear back. Look at that, happy little guy. And maybe we'll just take a little indication here and there and here. Maybe his hair just kind of comes over his face a little bit more. See how the hair just kind of comes over his face, and maybe there and here. That already looks pretty good, doesn't it? Remember, click off to the side, back onto your main background. We're just going to take the history brush. We're going to go right under here, right under his lip. We're going to see what happens. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that looks nice. And let's just keep filling in his beard. He needs a little more of a beard. Don't you think he needs to be a little more scruffy? Yeah. Now, if we go back to Mr. Rob, we can see that he's got a little white mustache going on. So why don't we do this? What we're going to do is we're going to come in here. You're going to put your pencil at 1 pixel. 1 pixel. Isn't that right? Yes, it is. If you go to your brush tool, you press B for brush, and you press Option, you get this little dropper, and all of a sudden, I can just add the littlest indication. Maybe a couple little more hairs coming through. Look at that. Now, I know it doesn't look like much when you're looking at it right now, but let's see what it looks like. Hey, he's got a little more of a mustache now. You know, sometimes the happiest times in life, you have a little bareness. Maybe you're missing a little patch out of your beard. I don't know. We're going to zoom in here. Get a little white. Get a nice little gray color in there. Throw a couple of those in. See what that looks like. You know, maybe he's got a little white in his mustache. You don't know. Shoot, I don't even know. All of a sudden, look at that. I think that looks like a pretty good little mustache, don't you? I think it does. So we got to look at the fact that our original canvas, he's got a bit of a yellow film on him. And our little character, maybe he's been in some brighter lights or something. I don't know. If you go up here to images, you go to adjustments, we're going to look at color balance right here. And what we can do is we can just add a little yellow, just a little. Don't need to go too much. I can go in the shadows and just a little blue if I want it. Maybe a little red. Ooh, that looks good. That looks good. Just a little bit of red. That's all I need. But I think that looks pretty good. So now, we've got one last finishing touch. Oh, there we go. Whew. Look at that. Let's just take this in here. We'll just push it down a little bit, make it a little smaller. Let's go into edit. This is going to be fun. We're just going to go into perspective. Just a little bit. Remember, objects are smaller when they're farther away from you. So if we do just little something like this. And maybe we'll just do a little something like that. Well, I think that looks pretty good. So remember, here we have our little picture, and I can use this as a YouTube thumbnail now. You can do any old character you like. You don't have to do it exactly like I did. Maybe you want to use the pictures I did. I'm not sure. But until next time, remember, you can do this, and we'll see you guys soon. God bless.